Welcome to Listertainment, the channel with the most deceptive name in all of YouTube. As you know, fighters have to be under a certain weight in order to fight, and these weights are carefully measured prior to the fight. But sometimes these fighters fail to make the weight by just the smallest amount, so in order to just get rid of any tiny weight, they take off their clothing and get back on the scale. Of course, there has to be some modesty at these live events, so they put towels in front of them, or around them. But the people holding the towels are so invested in the scale that they forget to hold the towel correctly, and sometimes it just falls or slips and it leaves the fighter exposed, almost showing all their goodies. There are some big time fighters who also just don't care and just start walking around, and the towel holders are unable to keep up, so you can just see a lot more than you expected. If you happen to enjoy this video, please give it a like so we can satisfy the like-loving slut that is the algorithm, and subscribe down below. Also, make sure to turn on those notifications. Let's get started. Before his fight against Luke Jackson, Carl Frampton failed to make the weight of 126 pounds. So he had to bear it all in order to be able to get there, and he certainly got there, but gave quite a show to the crowd. Will Frampton was ready to just get naked without the towel until someone seemed to tell him that you're on TV, so just wait a second till they get a towel. Which didn't really help because one of the guys holding the towel wasn't paying attention at all. He was just looking at the number the entire time.
126 pounds for Carl Frampton.
And the towel just kept slipping and moving all around. Then at the end, they just allowed everything to be seen. The actual fight saw the champion Frampton win the fight via TKO in the 9th round, after some crazy body shots in the 8th and 9th that led to Jackson's corner throwing in the towel.
Really comfortable, and the corner from Jackson for me was spot on, throwing a towel in, saving their man for another day. As you say, he's only had 16 fights.
Probably one of the hottest fighters of all time was Gina Carano, and was one of the biggest names in MMA when she was fighting. Many of the guys, of course, were extremely excited when she had to go naked in order to make the weight before her fight against Kelly Cobold. She had to try this a total of 3 times, and apparently her father was the one holding up the towel on the 3rd attempt, and he was the one that dropped the towel.
Official weight 141 pounds.
Many were claiming that it was all a publicity stunt, but I don't think that a father would be part of this, so I think it was just an accident. The actual fight was all on Carano's side, as she dominated her fight and won via unanimous decision. This was the fight that ultimately set up her fall, since the victory led to a fight against Chris Cyborg, who absolutely crushed Carano in the 1st round and led to Carano's retirement.
Carano's in trouble. 8 seconds. She's not answering. Carano getting pounded. She better watch out.
Edgar Sosa had the daunting task of fighting against the undefeated champion Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez back in 2015, and he missed the weight, so he had to get down to his birthday suit in order to make this fight happen.
Chocolatito Gonzalez.
All the way.
It was very brief, but luckily these guys are always holding their family jewels really close to themselves and prevent any full exposure. It was funny how the guy on the left was kind of like trying to keep the other guy from dropping the towel, but it turned out that it was him that was just lowering the towel so much that everybody almost got a show. The fight went as expected. Chocolatito was at his best during his incredible undefeated streak, so he completely took Sosa apart in the 2nd round, knocking him down 3 times and winning via TKO. This one had a bit of controversy as Daniel Cormier came into his 205-pound light heavyweight fight at 206.2 pounds. He was scheduled to fight Anthony Johnson, and well, he missed the weight badly, even after being naked the first time.
Cormier weighs in at 206.2 pounds.
He was given 2 hours to go back and try to lose the weight, but he came back in just 2 minutes and miraculously made the weight.
Wow.
He was of course accused of playing the old trick of holding the towel while his team held the towel tightly, making him lose the weight by some miracle of God. His excuse was that he was just bashful and was holding the towel to cover himself. But he is walking around naked all over the place, like he's in the freaking locker room, so he obviously tricked the commission. He later clobbered Johnson, beating him in the second round by submission. Javier Gomez Rueda was fighting in the undercard of the Hopkins vs. Cloud event against Eddie Gomez when he missed the weight, so he had to go bare. Unlucky for him, his team found the smallest possible towel in order to try and shield him.
153.6.
These freaking idiots were trying to cover him up by both guys grabbing the towel from the same side. Until finally another guy took the other side, but it was too late. Rueda had almost shown his entire Frankenbeans to the audience, so he just had a chuckle. Their fight ended in a first round knockout of Rueda, rounding out his embarrassment. Even the amazing former champion Max Holloway was left exposed during his weigh-in at UFC 218, where he would be fighting Jose Aldo a second time after beating him in the third round in their first fight. One of the guys holding the towel was Justin Gaethje, who along with the other guy were blocking the scale, so they had to move the towel to the other side, and well, they did it in the only way possible, but Holloway forgot to cover up.
Towel holder here. You never know what to expect. Oh, and Gaethje now, not enough.
You can see Holloway just shake his head in disbelief, while Gaethje is just laughing his ass off. I mean, there's no way to move the towel without leaving him exposed. It was Holloway's fault for not putting his hands in front, knowing that the towel had to be moved somehow. The fight ended the exact same way, with Holloway winning via TKO in the third round.
Oh, desperately trying to survive. Might stop this thing soon. No, do it! Max Holloway!
Maybe it would have been better if Misha Tate had not made the weight before her fight against the amazing Amanda Nunes at UFC 218, because she got absolutely destroyed in the first round.
She got tagged. Yeah. She got hurt bad. Trying to get it all over.
During the actual weigh-in though, she had to bear it all in order to get there, and the two girls holding the towels were very loosey-goosey with a towel and dropped it just enough to expose one of her breasts. Luckily, she was covering up pretty well. One of those towels was also pretty small, so the people on the right were getting to see a lot more. Luckily, this lady came over and blocked it. This is one of the most dramatic ones, as Andrew Cancio was trying to make weight so he can step in the ring against Joseph Diaz. And they had a huge start this time, but somehow the tiniest hit caused one of the guys to completely drop the giant bedspread.
126.
Of course, this is just a great moment for Cancio, because all I heard were girls screaming in excitement. Has to make a man feel pretty good to get that type of reaction, and you can tell by his freaking smile from ear to ear. Unfortunately for Cancio, he went on to lose the fight via TKO in the 9th round.
It is broke.
This one is freaking crazy. Shawn Porter was trying to get to 147 pounds as he came into his first title defense almost 2 pounds overweight. He used all his 2 hours allotted to cut weight and even cut his hair on the scales in order to make it, which he finally did.
Sorry guys, I gotta call you got 2 minutes.
But do you see what they are using to cover him up? They are using a see-through flag from his promotional team. You can almost see everything in these shots, and I kind of think that people there were getting a full view. But then they actually dropped it a bit.
Skill, I'm calling 147.2.
Again, man, those girls were getting excited, and Porter didn't even notice until this guy jumped in front to cover him up. Porter did not have his hands anywhere near his junk, and he gave a complete showing that night. The fight was really close as many thought Ugas had won, but in the end Porter successfully defended the title via split decision.
Boxing at the moment. It's a little bit closer.
Well, that's what he's doing now.
It would be better if he gets Ugas against the ropes and then combination shots.
Left to the head and a right.
And still, WBC.
We also have the biggest idiot being exposed, and that is Adrien Broner, who came into the fight only 0.2 pounds heavier than the 144-pound catch weight.
144.2.
We have 144.2 pounds, 144.2 pounds.
He was told to take off the shorts to make the weight, and then made a joke that you can lose the towel since he's blessed in the manhood department.
You can lose the towel, I'm blessed.
Well, maybe not, because they did drop the towel later after he started walking away, and well, he seemed pretty adamant about the towel being put in place. He even turned around to put his shorts back on. Those are not the actions of a man who is comfortable with his size, but then again, maybe it was cold in that room. He was actually fighting Jesse Vargas, and the fight ended in a draw.
The whole point of Broner holding his ground, he's got to punch back.
Vargas already throwing 76 punch or cut. Broner with the right and the left. Broner, the pace throwing punches and bunches.
The decision is a majority draw.
Bet you never expected to see this much of your favorite fighter. I mean, maybe some of you were excited by it, I don't know. Thanks for watching this video. See you next time.